Semerwater, Yorkshire's largest natural lake. In 1937, a young boy found an intact Bronze Age spearhead by the lakeside. In 2015, Hawes Countryside Museum was invited to take part in the Arts and Heritage Meeting Point project, funded through the Art Council's Resilience Fund. Here on the shores of Semerwater, the Hawes Countryside Museum has a weekend event. It is to celebrate the finding of a Bronze Age spearhead which was found at the side of the lake. Sculptor David Murphy was appointed through a tender process in October 2015. At the end of the pontoon, amid the copper sculpture, David Murphy, along with Fiona Rocha, museum manager, discussed the installation. They returned to dry land along the pontoon walkway.
It's over now, though. You can relax. Enjoy it.
Yeah, just popped up. Yeah.
On Saturday afternoon, many people have come to walk along the floating walkway and to view the copper sculpture. During the afternoon, the fire provides interest to both young and old alike. The tent with hot food, burgers, etc. is popular. Will Lord was here to cast a bronze spearhead using techniques available in the Bronze Age. On the walls of Will Lord's tent, cave painting replicas add to the experience of a very ancient time. The night before, along with his colleague, he made a furnace to produce the molten metal.
The block, we're making a bucket out of dung and clay and something which you might not have heard of called grog. You know what grog is? Now grog is...
It's not what pirates drink.
No, it's not what pirates drink. Grog is, you know, if you've got a clay pot that's been fired, so it isn't going to shrink anymore. So what we do is we smash it up and we mix it in with the clay and everything else. And it will it acts. It's got a funny name because what it does, it's a refractory, so it bounces heat back. So it actually works, and it doesn't shrink. So when all of that is bound together, there's a very little amount of shrinkage, and it will be a place that we can make an extremely hot fire, and that's what we're building away here. So you can see at the back there, looks like a little bucket that we're starting to build.
We'll end up looking like a potty.
Yeah.
But when it's working, you really won't want to sit on it.
Gosh, fascinating. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Cheers.
Amazing.
And for each cast, do you have to make a new sort of furnace?
No, not necessarily. So generally what we do is we make one, we use it for a 24-hour cycle, and then we smash it up and it becomes a new grog for the next one. So the grog that we've got there is about 7 years old now, which is nice. So we've got the Semerwater spear blanks that we've made. One is made out of wax and one's made out of wood. So we're going to use two different types of casting technique and see which one comes out best. They're both extremely challenging to make because one, they're looped on both sides, and you can see this little triangular section here, and just behind it it's hollow through here, and that's so that you could bind it onto a spear shaft. But even more complex than that, it's got a tunnel running through the middle, so that's socketed, and what we have to do is we have to put a core in there which is dry. If it's not dry, it's going to explode. And normally when you look at something and you think it's dry, it's not, because there's a chemical bonding of O2 particles. It doesn't depart from the material in there until it reaches 250 degrees. But if it's surrounded by wax and a mould, it hasn't got anywhere to go. So things get more complicated still. There are ways around that. It's called venting, where you burn out and then you vent out, so you turn your mould over. But all the same, for a science of over 2,500 years old, that is a comprehensive piece of equipment. So some of the other features that we have on here is we have the decoration on the hilt of the actual spear. So what we've got is we've got 5 bands that are travelling all the way around, and then we've got these V sections that travel forward and back, and then they're laced with tiny little spars within the circumference of themselves. Beyond that point, what you can see is you've got a heavy crested core, giving this whole thing so much strength, running down to an admirable length of, I think that was about 400 millimetres long. I'm not sure on the length off the top of my head. Do you know the length off the top of your head, Simon?
27.8 centimetres.
Thank you. So,
Get that wrong, could I?
Yeah.
its admirable length is 27.8 centimetres.
Right.
That's quite a hard length to cast with a core in.
Yeah.
On Saturday afternoon the furnace had been built and was about to be fired to heat the metal before casting. The mould is ready to accept the molten metal. The small furnace is well alight to melt the bronze. Will moves a little back from the audience as a safety precaution. Before the pouring takes place, Will likens the process of pouring the molten metal into the mould to that of pouring a cup of tea. Try not to miss the cup and don't overfill the cup.
Right, let's get it in there. Go on, get in there.
Come on, side, mate.
That is arguing about going down there. Get down there. Right, it all went in. I think I spilled that down the side there.
Yeah.
Or did it come out?
It's hard to say.
Thanks.
That might have been premature.
Literally, I'll give it 2 minutes, and then we can open it up. Yeah, which is quite shocking, isn't it?
Yeah.
You could believe. Depends what you want out of the metal as well. Really, itself in a variety of ways, so it's going to be safer to get back out. So, just remember that. Also, this spearhead that we're looking at, it wasn't an everyday occurrence. There's not hundreds of these spearheads in the world. There's very few, because it is an excellent spearhead. It's a rare example of a spearhead, and it took an awful lot of skill to make. The one other thing I'd add to that is you're probably looking at the beginning of the Bronze Age up till that the particular spear was made. Maybe 20 generations of, I could say from daughter to mother, because we don't always know whether men or women doing the bronze casting, and actually it doesn't matter. But you've got 20 generations of family working at this skill set, so I'm sure that they didn't let that knowledge go, but it got lost, and we've lost so many things. But I keep kind of busy, so I'm recovering a few of them. Right, how did I do this up? Half the trouble is I can't remember how I built it. Right. That's exciting, wasn't it? Right. I've got that bit, look.
Oh yeah.
It's a sneaky little thing, it's revealing itself slowly, isn't it? This is not showmanship. This is just trying not to break it. Oh!
Wow, yes.
Now, as far as things go on this side, it's looking good because the core hasn't got any holes in it. But that's only half the story, so we need to turn it round. You don't mind coming out. How many hours it's taken me to make it? I made the wooden mould that I made. Took me a morning. What's happened?
It's come out the side, it's a side.
That's just a little leak in it. Can you lift that, son? I spent all morning on the wooden mould. But Simon,
That's rubbish.
what you got?
Yeah, no, don't worry, that makes horrible.
Is it a great big hole? So what have we got the other side? You're always criticising me, Simon. Well, I think we've managed to get something relative here. I'm quite pleased with that. What the problem is, thank you. What the problem is, the museum have got to make a choice which one they throw in the lake. Oh, this is probably more magical, this one, because it's had all your attention. Which the other one was a fairly lonely affair. The first part of going back in the lake is for me to go and quench it, and then I'll be quite happy to pass it round and you can have a handle of it, alright? Stand it and cool slowly. You're going to have a much softer metal. We're going to go out there and quench it, and that's going to actually make all the particles race.
The hot cast bronze spearhead is quenched in the lake. The time to view the sculpture is after dark. The events were held during the UK Museum's Night Festival. Walking along the pontoon, the slight swaying motion makes one feel to be at sea. At the end, looking out over the lake in pitch blackness is a rare, eerie experience. In the darkness, the large bonfire is attractive, if only to warm one up. Down by the lake, poems and songs are being performed.
Oh, Simmer, can you hear and falling on silt bed they slump. And still they beat with all their thumps. A cosh for lost dreams. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
In the tents, refreshments were on offer, along with displays of artworks related to Semerwater. The installation represented the treasures of the lake and the return of the famous spearhead to where it was found.
Lovely.
We need to drill through there, and obviously we've got to take the pouring cup off, but outside that I'm chuffed with that. That's a really good result.
The replica spearhead, having been cleaned and tidied up, is passed amongst the children present.